Stack the deck, and stack the deck once again. What's up, 23% Nation? Your man, Coach D, is here today. And guys, I'm motivated. I'm excited. I'm ready to get started. That's right. We're still talking about the 10 keys to staying motivated. Why? For peak performance. And let's not forget that Coach D was inspired by the one and only Delatorro McNeal II. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and dive into what I believe is key number 6. Perfect. I was right. Yes. Today we're talking about the 6th key, which happens to be stack the deck. That's right, guys. So allow me to explain something for people who are new. Guys, we're not talking about playing cards today. Oh no. Instead, we're using stacking the deck as a metaphor for staying motivated for peak performance. So let's go ahead and dive into what the 6th key is all about. Okay, now I do know that some people have probably heard of the phrase stacking the deck, right? But probably in a card playing reference. Okay, well, as I mentioned before, we're not playing cards. Instead, we're talking about motivation. So the question is, what does stacking the deck mean? Well, here we go. It means to fix something so a desired outcome is achieved. It could also mean putting yourself in a winning position. So for those of us out there that are interested in starting our own business, it's always a good idea to fix something so that you achieve a desired outcome. It's also an amazing idea to put yourself in a winning position. Now, it doesn't always have to equate to money, although that would be nice, but it could be as simple as you building your team. It could be as simple as you improving your marketing efforts. It could also be as simple as you delivering a little better customer service. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to dive into 5 tips that I believe can help put us in a favorable position. In other words, here are 5 steps or 5 tips that are going to help us stack the deck to our advantage. All right, so tip number 1 is work harder and smarter. So what does that mean, Coach D? Well, here we go. It means that you may have to start talking to more people. That's right. It also means you may have to use social media a little more. Now, here's the thing about social media. For some people, it could be very, very complex. So if I can offer one other piece of advice as far as social media is concerned, find someone who knows more about social media than you do. Okay, it's very easy to do. You can always jump on Fiverr.com. They have social media experts on there. Or if you just want to talk to a younger cousin or just a young person in general who are always on social media, chances are they'll know how to hook things up. Also, you may have to start reading more books and or magazines. And you may have to attend more workshops and more conferences. So guys, when it comes to tip number 1, working harder and smarter, those are just a few things that we can do in order to stack the deck in our favor. Okay, tip number 2, be around successful people. Now, I don't know how many times I have said this, but through my research, this is what I've come to find out, is that by surrounding yourself with successful people, chances are you'll become equally, if not more, successful than what they are. So here are some ways in which we can surround ourselves with successful people. We may have to change a department at work, meaning you may be in marketing, but you may have to switch over to sales. Or you may be in customer service and you may have to switch over to, let's say, marketing. All right. Another way to surround yourself with more successful people could be to find a new job. Okay. Now, I'm not suggesting that anyone quit their job today, but you may want to start looking for a new job. That's right. It's always important that if you're the type who prefers to be an employee, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, never ever leave your current job before you find a new job. That way, not only can you continue to get a great recommendation from your current employer, but you always have money coming in the door. Also, find out what makes them so successful. You see, so it's not enough just to hang around successful people, but guys, you got to talk to them. You got to ask people questions, okay? So in other words, you got to ask for help. You got to let people know what it is you want to do and figure out how they can assist you in accomplishing your goals and your desires. Also, model their behavior. You see, so if someone that you deem successful begins to spend time with you, they begin to talk to you, right? You want to make sure that you ask them all types of questions, specific questions, so that you can begin to model their behavior. In other words, what type of social media marketing do they do? What type of prospecting and networking do they do? In other words, become their replica, all right? That way you will equal, if not surpass, their level of success. Tip number 3, keep doing more of whatever is working. Now, this one is rather interesting because a lot of times we get advice from different people and everybody wants to tell us to do one thing. People want to tell you to do something else. But very seldom do people ask you if what you're currently doing is it getting you results. Okay? So let's say that you are in the mood, okay, or you want to lose weight. You want to get in shape. You want to become healthier. Right? And so you're in the gym, you're talking to trainers, you're talking to Group X instructors, you're talking to people that you know in the gym, and everybody's giving you all this different advice. But the thing is, it may conflict with what's currently giving you results. You see? So don't be so quick to switch gears. In other words, use your filter. This is very important. You got to know who's giving you good advice and who's giving you bad advice. Also, figure out what is working. So, like I said before, if you're trying to lose weight, have you increased your water consumption? Have you decreased your calories? Have you started lifting more, if not heavier weights? Are you doing your cardio? Have you changed your frame of mind? Right? So you got to figure out exactly what's working. Therefore, you can continue to do exactly what it is you're doing that's giving you the best outcomes. And last but not least, you got to figure out why it's working. You see? So why is drinking more water going to help you lose weight? Why is consuming fewer calories going to help you lose weight? You got to understand not only what's working, but you got to understand why it's working. All right, tip number 4, find a different field. Now, this is in contrary to what we just discussed, right? So sometimes we may want to be successful, we may want to stay motivated, we may aim for peak performance, right, in our quest to stack the deck in our favor, but we may be stuck. Why? Because we may be in a field that is too competitive, too stagnant, and too unusual. Okay? So this is just the opposite of continuing to do what works. This is finding something different, okay? Because sometimes you may just have to switch gears. So if you find yourself not moving in the direction that you want to move in, if you find yourself stuck, okay, find a different field. Tip number 5, and I believe this is the last tip, body language, ladies and gentlemen, body language. Now, here's the thing. Remember, we're talking about stacking the deck in our favor. So now we got to figure out what can we begin to do differently so that we get a different outcome. Well, body language, believe it or not, is definitely a huge key. So when it comes to body language, here's something that we really should discuss. Point your heart at the other person's heart. In other words, stand face to face or sit face to face. Make eye contact. Make sure that your toes are pointed in the direction of their toes. Okay, so eye to eye, heart to heart, toe to toe. That's what you want to do. Also, use open hands. Okay. Now, the interesting part about keeping your hands open is that if we want to get very metaphysical and spiritual, keeping your hands open is a great way for your body to not only receive energy, but it's also a great way for your body to release energy. That way, you're not holding in any low frequency or high frequency emotions. Also, uncross your arms, okay? A lot of times when you see people who have folded arms or crossed arms, it primarily means that they're in a very defensive position. Perhaps they think that they're being offended in some way, shape, or form. So if you want to be perceived as an open and an honest and a very welcome and warm and very receptive person, you never ever want to fold your arms or cross your arms, okay? Once again, we're talking about energy. Let the energy flow through your body. That way it can then flow to other people. And last but not least, when we talk about body language, is leaning forward. Very important. So whether you're standing up or whether you're sitting down, it's always a good idea that when the other person is talking, meaning you're listening, you want to lean forward. You want to give the other person the impression that you're very interested in hearing whatever it is they have to say. And if I may add one other thing, it's always important to not only smile, but you also want to nod whenever someone makes a very valid point or whenever someone says something that you're very interested in, or perhaps you agree with what they're saying. So once again, let's very quickly recap these body language techniques. Point your heart at the other person's heart. In other words, toe to toe, eye to eye, heart to heart. Keep your hands open, not closed, and definitely not in your pockets, okay? Also, uncross your arms. Be open to receiving and sending energy. And last but not least, lean forward. That gives the other person the impression that you're very interested in listening to whatever it is they have to say. Question of the day, question of the day, and question of the day once again. How can you stack the deck in your favor? Now, 23% Nation, I just hooked you up with 5 golden tips. Pick one, pick two, or pick all 5. It really doesn't matter. Just pick whichever one you are most comfortable with, okay? So our question of the day, once again, is how can you stack the deck in your favor? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening, and I definitely want to thank you for watching. As always, let's eat well, feel well, think well, do well, be well. This is your man, Coach D. I'm signing out. Definitely stay tuned for the next key. All right, take care. God bless.